Tormented for a decade, neighbours of a man with learning difficulties found dead outside his own home say he suffered years of abuse from a gang of youths. Detectives found the body of 64-year-old David Askew after receiving reports of yobs causing trouble near his house. This comes in the wake of a national report criticising the way that police deal with complaints of antisocial behaviour. Let's go to the scene at Hattersley in Greater Manchester. Our correspondent there is Michelle May. Michelle.
David Askew may not have been physically attacked, but he was bullied and abused for so long that those who knew him in this area believe it was more than anyone could reasonably bear. He and his family are very well known on this estate in Hattersley. David could often be heard shouting at the groups of young people to leave him and his family alone and to leave their house alone. His abusers were teenagers and boys as young as 8. For 10 years, yobs targeted David Askew's home, throwing sticks and stones at the windows and hurling abuse. He collapsed after a group confronted him in his back garden. They targeted him because he had learning difficulties. Those who knew him said he struggled to cope with the stress and anxiety.
They've had everything from abuse to the windows being broken to threats. David don't come out the house for what he's being followed down to the precinct. They can't go down to the precinct in peace.
The kids would run up to him, they'd demand money. He wouldn't give it to them. He'd get frustrated and finishing up, he'd take it out of his pocket and he'd throw it at them because they went at him so much. Same as cigarettes, he used to throw the cigarettes at him because they went on and on and on at him.
Greater Manchester Police says everything possible was done to help David, who lived with his frail mother and 58-year-old brother. 2 years ago, CCTV cameras were fitted to their home. Police tried a range of tactics, including placing covert officers inside the house in readiness for an incident. But the yobs never came when the trap was laid. One woman's son was given an ASBO for his involvement, but has since moved away.
I know a few kids looked out for him as well and give him 6, but one of them took it too far, haven't they? It's disgusting. Totally disgusting.
What did you used to say to your son to try and stop him?
Everything.
Some people do blame parents, don't they?
Yeah, of course they do. I'm one of the strictest parents you can have. I mean, my son sat there in his car. I used to ground him, keep him in. But I've even phoned the police on my son in the past, and I have.
It's a neighbourhood struggling with youth violence and antisocial behaviour like so many others across Britain. A survey has found that last year 3.6 million reports of antisocial behaviour were recorded. But in 1 in 4 cases, police officers didn't turn up. 1 in 5 repeat victims classed themselves as disabled in some way. And the Chief of Constabulary also found that more than half our police forces can't adequately identify repeat victims.
We have found that some police forces are able to check on repeat. So if you're a victim, through your name or your telephone number or address, it will tell them that, perhaps if they're having to go to a call. But the vast majority can't do that.
The deaths of Fiona Pilkington and her daughter tragically highlighted shortcomings in how police and other authorities respond to cases where vulnerable people are repeatedly tormented by yobs. She committed suicide and killed her 18-year-old disabled daughter after gangs terrorised them over 7 years. On the walls of David Askew's home there is evidence, if it were needed, of the abuse he suffered for over a decade. Community police officers spent much time helping his family and say they're upset at his death. But it seems clear that whatever help he was given, he struggled to cope.
Michelle, is there a feeling there that the police perhaps could have done more to prevent this?
It depends who you speak to, but there certainly are some neighbours that live very close to David Askew who believe that not enough was done. They're saying that they don't see enough community officers on the streets. But you heard in my report there, Greater Manchester Police are adamant that they really have worked very closely with this family. Just to give you an example, their community officers have even been involved in helping clean inside the house, helping with them with their gardening and helping them get a stair lift fitted for David's elderly mother. It is a familiar story, though, of locals saying that there's not enough for young people to do in this area. They hang around the local shops not far away from here, and they come up onto the estate when they're bored and they've got nothing else to do. It's the elderly relatives, the elderly people in this estate who are targeted. Tonight, a post-mortem is being carried out on David, but it is felt that he didn't have any physical injuries. He was not physically attacked. It's thought he died of a heart attack or stroke, and the police say that they are not ruling out any criminal charges.